Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership and business, empowering each other, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, soul, and mind, connecting to the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.
Happy Monday!
Woohoo! It's Monday again!
It's Monday. Mindset Monday, that is. And this week, we are talking about some pretty cool stuff.
We are. We have been working through the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz and the companion book for it, which goes even deeper into the subjects. So, oh my goodness, right?
Right.
Deep.
Right.
And then we're also doing leadership mindset tool of creativity.
That's pretty cool.
We love to be creative.
So this, the topic this week from the 4 agreements, we're on chapter 3, and it's the second agreement, which is don't take anything personally. Okay. I'm going to read the 4 agreements real quick, just as a reminder.
Okay.
Number 1, be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Bah, bah, bah. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. And ooh, we're going to talk about that today. Are you excited?
Yeah,
okay.
I am. I'm excited.
Number 3, don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life.
I'm excited. We're going to talk about that next week.
We are.
My mom, I want to talk. Right? I'm like, that one. Yeah.
That one's a big one. And then number 4 is always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret.
Boom.
It's so a lot.
It is a lot.
It is a lot.
So
let's talk about not taking it personally.
Let's
don't
jump
take
right
anything
in.
personally.
There's a quote in this book. Ooh. And he realized that everyone was dreaming, but without awareness, without knowing what they really are. Oh my goodness. We'll have Charlie reread it.
And he realized that everyone was dreaming, but without awareness, without knowing what they really are. The smoky mirror. Which we talked about, the smoky mirror.
Yes.
Right? So dream versus our own reality, our personal dream, and then how our personal dream affects our family dream, or affects our community dream, affects our society dream, affects our world dream.
Yes. And we were born into that dream already.
Yes.
So we already have some basic agreements when we're born of like, this is what it's like to live.
Right. And it puts a whole new perspective on, what we were taught in church as kids growing up is the sins of the Father, the sins of the Son, because you carry that family trauma with you. You carry that generational agreements and energy with you for up to 7 generations if you don't break the cycle.
Right. If you knowingly don't break the cycle. Wow. Right. It's been interesting to deep dive into that subject of the generations and the energy that you're bringing forth with you, and then taking the time to heal and
breaking bad habits, breaking agreements that don't serve you, that never served you, that never served the your ancestors before you,
Right.
but we keep making these agreements with ourselves because that's this world dream, not ours.
Right. This is what we're supposed to or should do.
Uh-huh.
But we should delve into today's.
Okay, so don't take anything personally. Whatever happens around you, don't take it personally. It's not about you, it's about them,
Mhm.
right?
This
Everybody is like me. Everything's about me. The world revolves around me. And so, one of the things that this agreement does is it separates you from that,
it
where it's not
separates
about you.
you
It's like,
from taking on the other person's stuff.
right.
So
Like-
you can see, you become aware that what they're saying to you has nothing to do with you.
Right. You're the mirror.
You're reflecting it.
reflecting it off of them instead of picking up their garbage and carrying it with you.
Yes. I love it. You know, you can
Take their
your hand
garbage and
and
give
like
them-
physically like, no, you can have that back. I don't need that. It feels really good to like pick it up and like, no, thank you.
yeah.
And then you pretty soon you don't pick it up. But you know, when you're starting, you know, it's that awareness.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is one of those moments those ladies were talking about. This isn't about what I'm feeling. This is about what they're going through.
Yes.
Yes.
This taking things personally is where fear and self-doubt and all those are mini agreements that you've made along the way with yourself of the I'm not enoughs.
Right. Ooh, yeah. This one shows up there.
That shows up big time in not in taking it personally.
And I
so
think
if you're not taking things personally, you're releasing those things from you're more aware of what you're taking personally. Like, am I taking that personally? Am I not taking it personally? Like, you ask yourself those questions.
The feeling of your feelings being hurt.
Ooh, the feeling of
Right?
your feelings being hurt.
That feeling, right?
Mhm.
Nobody likes that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel it's like a moment of being let down.
Mm-hmm. That's when you take it personally.
That's taking it personally. Yes, that's taking it personally. So what if you didn't have to feel that way?
Right. Like, it's not about you. It's about them. Like, for example, let me use a recent example of mine. My husband's work schedule changed temporarily for 2 weeks. He's working day shift.
Super awesome, mean.
And then he goes back to swing shift. So his change of schedule, he's used to coming home and everybody's in bed asleep. So then he has some wind down time and it's quiet because nobody's awake, right? And
that is not the case when you
come
come home.
case when you come home at 4 p.m. So it threw him for a loop, all these changes, not just at home, but also at work because there's more people on day shift. Well, he has PTSD. So having a lot of people around triggers him. So he was triggered many times. Repeatedly. He's doing much better. It took him a couple of days to kind of get used to the new routine. But he was, taking that stress out on everybody around him about day 3 of this new schedule. And I was like, it's not about me, it's about him, it's all the changes, I understand, but I'm not going to
pick it up.
I'm not going to pick it up. So I reminded myself not to take it personally. And then I asked him, I said, is there anything you can do to change what's going on? No. Is there anything I can do to help with this transition? No. Okay. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about this feeling that you're having? And he was a bit spun up at the time, but within like an hour of talking him through the 4 agreements, what are you taking personally? What are you
Because we have been using it almost like a checklist. Am I being impeccable with my word? Okay. Is this,
uh-huh.
am I being
Yeah.
good to myself? Am I being
Mhm.
good to you?
We've walked through this with our kids.
Don't
Me
am I
with my
what am I
husband.
taking it personally?
With each other.
Am I making assumptions somewhere, or are they making assumptions?
Mhm.
Are we all doing our best?
Right. And it's the are we doing our best part where he's like, yeah, we're doing our best. Then that's really all we can do.
Right.
Why are you getting upset because you're frustrated with things? Because you're taking it personally.
Right.
Stop taking it personally. It's not about you. It's just, and it's temporary. So don't even worry about it. So, these tools actually work in our real
They do,
families.
and it resolves conflicts that when instead of like jumping in and making it bigger, right? Because
Uh-huh.
now you've taken it personally,
Mhm.
you've picked it up, and then you're
Mhm.
reacting,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You've stepped back and let them process their own things.
Right.
And when they can get through to the other side without you picking it up,
It's pretty awesome.
it's pretty awesome for everyone. Like,
Yeah.
it's a really great.
It's like diffusing a bomb.
It is. That's
Right?
yeah.
It's like diffusing a bomb. It's like you go through your checklist, you make sure everything's right. And then by the time you go through your checklist, it's like you can breathe again, right? Because you're holding your breath through. And then, am I doing my best? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So with taking it personally, we tend to make these dreams up in our world, and we all have our own personal dreams. And this week, the companion book is talking about the dream.
It talks about how our brain perceives the world around us is by the presence of different rays of light.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the way our eyes work also. So when we close our eyes and we have that mirror in our heads, it's different rays of light.
Mm-hmm.
So we're moving light around in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to decide where that light's going to go.
Mm.
Isn't that
That's
cool?
That's so cool.
Like you have the
Say that again.
power.
You get to decide
where that light goes. So whatever you focus on is going to be magnified.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're focusing on the good things, this is why we talk about the tools of gratitude and thankfulness and really stepping into those. Is there anything else in there that you really wanted to?
Well, it's just, one of the things that I thought of when reading this portion about how the science behind light and dark, but I was thinking about the metaphysicality of light and dark and how we can choose light in ourselves. We can choose to see the light in others. Or we can choose the darkness in ourselves, or we can choose the darkness that we see in others.
True. And I wouldn't say that the darkness goes away.
No.
I would say what you have to do is make your light bigger. So for me, I like to choose joy instead. So
Joy
even though I
gratitude.
love things that are dark and I love watching, say, a show that is darker, and I'm not going to because I know that it puts me into a dark spot. And then that's not going to help me emotionally show up the way I want to show up.
Right.
So that's an agreement I had to make with myself, right? So you can change the agreements that you've made and you can take power over them and you can choose joy.
Mhm.
You can choose laughter, as
Mhm.
a way to get,
You can
whatever
choose
brings you
hope.
joy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to choose it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really dark.
Sometimes it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Choose joy
Yeah. Make your light
all
bigger.
the time. Make your light bigger.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that. Make your light bigger and shine on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't hide, because we are here. We don't need to have those agreements with ourselves anymore
Mhm.
that are so awful.
Mhm.
They don't serve us.
No.
And if we're taking things personally, like we got a laptop and it was dented. And I noticed I was like taking it a little personal, like, oh, this is karma. Oh, I did something bad.
It wasn't
I'm
about
not
you.
worth it. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like,
In the spiral.
ooh, I was like, we're not going to do that. I was like, so whenever we are talking about something, it always shows up in our lives, right?
Right.
Because we're focused on paying attention for these things and the awareness. I was like,
Mhm.
wow, this is practicing not taking things personally.
And it's also like the universe challenging us. Like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
You want to keep talking about this stuff?
Are you sure you're ready?
Yes.
Are you actually ready for the next step?
Yes. Are you just gonna
We're
are you gonna accept the thing broken, or are you gonna say, hey, no, I'm worth it?
right.
Guess what?
You're
We're
worth
worth
it.
it. How cool is that? So let's talk a little bit about creative mindset.
Ooh, the leadership
Yeah.
skill.
So as a leader, when you can be creative and have brainstorms and inspire others towards creativity.
Mhm.
So this is where it comes up with like new ways to get things done,
Mhm.
or maybe we can take a shortcut or make a system, or talk
Right.
about like, well, this
Like-
isn't working, maybe we can flow
Like,
better.
why is this so hard? There's got to be a better way.
Right.
That's how we figure out a lot of our problem solving. It's like we talk about it.
Right. And we have that. So an example is a successful leader will always recognize and reward employees for their creative input. So just so you cultivate that creativity, but then you also recognize it in others, so that they're creative too, because it's such a good energy. Creativity is, it makes people feel good, like they can come up with things and use their own brains. Like they don't have to just be cookie cutter people.
Right. And you actually did a really great job at one of the meetings we had this last week. We were meeting with a client, and there was this rule that something had to be a certain way. And you're like, well, who says?
Yeah, who
Who
decided
decided that?
that?
And they're like, well, I did. I said, so then
So
you could decide to
do
change
it
it.
differently.
And she's like,
Yes.
yes, I can. I'll do it this way. Problem solved. Check.
Right.
Like, this had been bothering her for weeks, this problem that she, was having. So anyway, I thought that was really cool. It's like you ask yourself, okay, who actually made this rule?
Yeah, why are we doing it
Why
that way?
are we doing it that way? And it's the same thing when you're talking about the agreements you've made with yourself.
Right.
Wait a second. I'm not stupid. Why do I think, why does that keep coming back to me?
Right.
Why is, nope, I'm not. Who made that rule? Not me. Break it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Break it.
Break it. Break the
Okay.
rules.
I like the story of Sunday dinner, and it's a roast, and my grandma's in the kitchen, and she chops the ends off the roast and cooks it. And I think one of the kids asked, like, why do we chop the ends off the roast? She's like, I don't know. Let's ask mom. So she asked her mom, and her mom's like, so it would fit in the pan.
because it didn't fit in the pan otherwise. But she thought that's just how
like how you made it. You
That's-
cut the ends off the roast. So
Right.
what agreement is like that
Mhm.
for you? Like there's no reason to cut the ends off the roast if it doesn't fit, if it fits in the pan just fine, right?
Right. So yeah, what are those agreements?
What ends of the roast are you still cutting off that you don't need to be?
That's a good analogy.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I love that one.
And the just being able to be a creative leader and problem solve is
So
just
problem solving
cool.
with creativity.
Mhm.
I mean, so sometimes creativity could be like we're gonna brainstorm together, or we're gonna all go for a walk, or
Mhm.
it just opens your mind in a different way.
Mhm.
Like, okay, we've all been sitting here for 2 hours. This
Trying
is
to figure this
insane.
out.
Let's just
go
like
do
change
something.
scenery. Let's like tell some jokes. Like, watch some TikTok. I don't know. Right? You
Right.
change it up and then you come back at it and just try to come from a different perspective.
Right. And if you are a solopreneur and you have a problem that you're trying to figure out and you don't have somebody else to ask,
Like we do.
guess
right?
what? You do have other people to ask. You have friends in the community, people at networking groups, like, hey, I have this problem and this is kind of, what's going on. I'm trying to figure it out. I bet you there's somebody who professionally does whatever fix that you're looking for that
would be happy to answer the question
yes.
and go, oh, for the moment you're like, what?
Right?
Mind blowing sometimes
because you don't have to fix all the problems on your own.
Right. There's community.
Right.
And if you really feel like you don't have somebody, schedule an appointment with us.
Right. Join our community.
Join our community.
Come to
Schedule
the
an
table.
appointment.
Come hang out
We'll
with
be
us.
happy to chat with you and help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what we do. And we couldn't do it without you guys and your love and support.
Yes. So thank you so much. And remember, don't take anything personally.
Right.
And be creative this week. You got this.
Never stop dreaming.
Never stop dreaming.
We
Speaking
love you.
of dreaming,
What?
stay tuned for the message from Sue and Grejta.
Let's help them reach their dreams and goals of finding a cure for Parkinson's disease. Find out more coming up next. Namaste.
Mwah.
So we are Sue and Grejta, or our trail names are Lilo and Stitch, and we are hiking the whole Appalachian Trail from Maine to Georgia, so 2,194.3 miles. And we're doing it to raise $50,000 or more
Yes.
for Parkinson's disease research.
Yeah, through the Michael J. Fox Foundation. And we are doing it all in honor of my dad, her husband, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease back in 2010. So
Right.
and we all know so many people who are diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and we are trying to do our small part in the world of Parkinson's disease to find a cure.
Thank you for joining us today on the Women in Leadership Body, Soul, Mind, and Business podcast. Please download the podcast on your favorite podcast player. We love you, and we will see you next time. Namaste.